Welcome, everybody, to Strangest Species, Season 2, Episode 22. I'm your host, Mike Davis, here with Ethne Davis.
That was so weird. Mike Davis.
It's almost like I forgot what my last name was.
Or if you were going to say it or not.
Well, it wasn't that I was going to say it. I was just, thinking if I wanted to throw something in between or something.
Oh, gotcha. I see. I was wondering what that delay was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think with your sister and her husband and their kiddos came into town since we recorded last. How old are our nieces? 5 and 4?
Yeah.
So anyways, they didn't really know my name when they got here.
I think so.
And we've only seen them once or twice.
Ever?
Well, since they were like old enough to...
Oh, I was like, I feel like we see them at least twice a year.
Yeah, I don't feel like they really know me.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. You're Auntie EE.
Well, I'm Auntie EE because my name is hard to say, but that's what Mason used to call me. And so Rosie was having a hard time saying my name. So I was like, just call me what Mason called me, just because I kind of miss it. Just call me Auntie EE. But she actually calls me Auntie Hee.
Yes.
And so they all call me Auntie Hee. And then my kids go, Hee.
Like that, yeah.
And it's just...
So I was trying to teach the girls that my full name is Uncle Studmaster Mike.
Oh, and they had no idea what to say.
No.
Yeah, that's... If they can't say my name, Studmaster Mike is not going to be like...
But Loxie would try. She was funny.
I'm sure she was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a fun girl.
Yeah. So anyways, that was fun.
That was fun. So you were going to say Mike Studmaster, but you already missed your chance.
No, I wasn't going to say Studmaster Mike. I was just thinking like if I was going to throw something in between.
Oh.
But I hadn't thought ahead of time, so I wasn't really knowing what.
Oh, I see.
If you haven't figured this out by now on this podcast, I never think of anything ahead of time.
That's not true. You have to write a whole script ahead of time.
It's true, but normally I write it and then I don't look at it for like 4 days. Then I sit down and we're like, oh, let's record. What are we talking about?
Well, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
All right, Forrest.
Yeah. I want to watch that one too.
I haven't seen that in forever.
I know. I want to watch these.
We've been kind of on a quasi quest of showing our kids movies from our childhood.
Okay, talking about showing them. Have we actually done it?
They watched Independence Day today.
Yeah. Yeah. That isn't my pick.
No, but they're movies.
Like Armageddon. I want to show my kids Armageddon.
Sure.
Yeah. But Independence Day was from you or? I mean, they did see Men in Black. What are some other ones that, I mean,
I don't know.
There's
which
a
other
handful
ones.
that we've already.
Just random ones.
Yeah. That we've already shown them. But that's just a handful. I dream about all these ones.
Like Ace Ventura.
Notting Hill.
And I want to show the kids a bunch of Adam Sandler movies.
We did watch Death Becomes Her. Did we already talk about that? Maybe it was. Anyway. I don't even know what to say about that show.
It was great, but our daughter was definitely like
weirded out.
This is weird.
Super weirded out. So anyway, we're gonna try because it's daylight savings happen today for those that do that, who listen, and so now it's dark real early. Really, really early. So I feel like it's kind of more cozy season. We literally never stop. But with dark weather, it forces us to stop and hopefully gives us a chance to watch like a movie a week that's kind of nostalgic to us and share it with our kids. So yeah, that's my goal for like November and December. Maybe
it's a good
January
goal.
Too. I know it probably won't happen, but it's a goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this weekend was our first weekend with no sports in forever.
It was the best feeling ever this weekend. So many things that needed to be done around the house, like just going through all the gloves and the toques and the mittens, because I mean, so many random things accumulate over the years, I guess I should say.
I spent like 7 hours this week building a gazebo, which I'm not sure is gonna survive
the winter.
7 hours being outside. Piece of crap.
Anyway, no, but I cannot remember a day where it was scheduled every hour on the hour. We were meant to be somewhere, needed to get somewhere, need to do something on a weekend.
Yeah, I took a nap this afternoon.
I mean,
That was crazy.
amazing.
It's great.
Literally amazing. Oh,
Not long, but still.
no, but
I don't like long naps. I'm a power napper.
either way, amazing. This weekend, I don't think on Saturday. Oh, we did leave our house. We ran an errand. We realized that Lincoln's feet are ginormous and he needed new shoes
Yeah.
for boots. So we did try to go find some boots. We didn't have success on the winter boots, did we?
No.
No, we didn't.
No. Well, I wanted to get those cool Timberlands
Yeah.
with like green shag carpet on them.
Yeah, no. Nope. And I said no. He would have, I think he would do anything that Mike suggested, even if Mike was joking.
Yeah.
He would. And I was like, this is, no. You cannot have green shag carpet on your
Tims?
shoes.
Psh, they're sweet.
Okay.
They
So,
don't make
but
them my
besides
size.
that, and we were on a mission. I mean, we literally went, we walked in, we looked for shoes, we came back. We went to another store, looked for shoes. We didn't lollygag. That is the only thing we did on Saturday that we left our house for. That
That's true.
was amazing. I can't even tell you guys.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I guess I spent all afternoon working on that stupid gazebo.
Sure.
I
But
was
you're
like,
still
what
at your
else
house.
did we do? But yeah, that's right.
Oh, we spent so much time.
Did we watch a movie at nighttime?
Mm,
No, what did we do?
no.
Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, we had Halloween since we recorded last.
Mm-hmm. Halloween was
It
super
was good.
great. It was rainy all day of Halloween. The day before Halloween, it rained. It cleared up about 3-ish. It was clear basically all of trick-or-treating. By the end, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, it started to drizzle.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't ruin your plans. Like,
No, it actually was perfect because the kids were like,
they had started at 5.
no, we didn't. Well, I guess the younger boys
Yeah, the younger
did,
boys-
'cause they
so-
went to a trunk or treat.
Right. So
But we didn't go out like officially trick or treating until probably 6:15.
I think it was like 5:45.
Was it 5:45ish? And the rain started and it
About 7:30.
pushed them all into, now we're okay to be done. And I was very okay
So
with
we
that.
did like one more block, but they probably would have gone
Right.
a little harder.
Yeah.
Probably to like
Our little guy was
8:30.
very into it this year. Like
he
sprinting.
wanted to run, and then our other costume kiddo couldn't run, and it was blow up costumes. They're overrated. And I know you're listening, child of mine, but next year we're not doing an inflatable.
They're just tricky to walk around with so many people.
Well, in maneuvering up and down people's steps, and I mean they're just tricky
And
around.
this block that we go trick or treating on,
Oh, it's the best. It's just magical.
yeah, I mean, it's literally straight out of a movie.
Yep.
And a lot of these entryways are so decorated.
Yeah.
It's hard to navigate when you're
Yeah.
4 times as wide as you normally are.
Yeah. So, but it was a really good Halloween. It was really, really
Yeah, I've
good.
eaten so much candy today.
I'm sorry.
Just stealing crap as I walk by.
Really? I
Yeah.
haven't stolen anything
Oh, I gotta
except
hit the gym,
for
man.
one Twix from Lincoln a couple days ago. And then Vienna gave me a couple of Reese's peanut butter cups. And I've had a couple. But that
Been
literally
snagging
is it.
Snickers, fun size Snickers.
Nope. Haven't had any. I've been so good about, I guess I could say, Halloween candy.
Well, you made that pear crisp.
Right.
I ate
right.
that. I've
Baking.
been eating all sorts of crap.
Like
but
the
I normally
pear
don't eat.
crisp, because we had these pears that we'd picked at our friend's orchard. By definition, we can call it an orchard. And they needed to get used. And so we did a pear crisp. And that is definitely more of my weakness, like a baking item.
I just ate it all.
I need to make a chocolate.
Other friends,
Yeah,
mom made donuts. I ate those.
that's true. She did make homemade donuts, but I just had to try it. Like I didn't have to eat a ton. I really want to make a chocolate zucchini cake, and that I will have a very hard time having some self-control about. So I need to invite someone over to come eat it with
I
me.
just gotta go lift and run a little bit.
Yeah. But it was a junk foodie weekend for sure, because we were actually home and
This is why
they actually have Halloween
I
candy.
book my life so busy. I don't have time to eat.
Oh, is that how we do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. So it was good. Speaking of food, last thing. Tonight for dinner, we had PPs and C's, which is
A family tradition on my
a
side.
family tradition on Anthony's side, but it's kind of turned into a family tradition for us. But it is potatoes,
Peas.
peas, and carrots cooked in cream and butter. That's it.
It's literally straight off the farm food.
Yeah.
That is what it is. So,
But Ethne grew the potatoes and carrots this year that we used in it.
yeah. I still have yet to figure out how to pick my peas because they harvest so much earlier than potatoes and carrots and keep them. Like I don't know the freezing of peas or the keeping of peas. So I need to learn how to do that. I just want to eat them straight out of the pod, So we have to buy peas usually. But if you live in Canada, or at least where my parents live, Costco sells like already shelled
Just a
in
big
a bag
of peas.
Fresh
peas.
Fresh peas. Amazing.
Really good. Fresh peas are amazing. Canned peas are kind of...
Oh, canned peas are gross. They have to be frozen.
Fresh peas are amazing.
So anyway, I wish that we could... I do grow peas. I just can't figure out the timing of the peas. But anyway, straight up, like growing up on the farm with my
clog your
grandparents.
arteries. It's so delicious.
Oh, no. Because normally they would just get it straight from their cow, the cream from their cow, and a little bit of butter and some salt and pepper. I mean, it's
really, really, really good.
It's so good. So
it's like a soup made out of cream.
Oh, it's so good.
It is really, really good. So
we don't do it often, like once a year.
Yeah, that's
really about it. And it's always at the harvest.
This time of year, yeah. So real quick, before we start our episode today, I want to give a shout out to two people. Two of our listeners.
Oh, I know who. I know one of them.
All right. Who is it?
Oh, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot Dog Man.
Hot Dog Man. That's what he was for Halloween.
But there's a backstory to why he was that for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
But he's our buddy's little guy.
He's about 8. He's 8.
Yeah, he's 8.
But I think he thinks we're pretty cool.
I don't know if he thinks we're cool or not, but I know he listens to the podcast a lot.
No, because, I mean, they come to our White Elephant. And he got like...
We have a big Christmas party every year.
Canada pants. And they were 27 times too big for him at the time. Still wears them to this day. He's won a giant
like
stuffed...
24 times too big for him now.
Yeah. A giant stuffed toothbrush. He still sleeps with his toothbrush. All the stuff that he gets, the crazy white elephant stuff that he gets from us, he loves. So I don't know if it's the stuff he gets or if it's us.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know he listens to the podcast a lot.
Thank you, Zach, for listening.
Cool little man. And tomorrow, college basketball starts, and his dad's coming over to watch the game with me, and he'll be upset because he will want to come watch it.
Yeah. He won't listen to this till after the game anyway.
That's right. And then I was going to give a shout out to Bryn, too, because I know Bryn listens.
Bryn does. And she said that, sometimes she comes home on Tuesdays, and it just kind of brightens her day.
Yeah.
So
she's a sophomore.
Yep.
A friend's daughter. She's pretty dang cool. We like Bryn.
We do. We like Bryn a lot.
Shout out to you two. Also shout out randomly to whoever listens to this show in Kokomo, Indiana.
Kokomo?
I don't know anything about Kokomo, Indiana, other than it's probably not as cool as the tropical Kokomo. But we have a listener.
There's a place
there
called
all the
Kokomo
time.
in Indiana?
I guess so.
I feel like I want to sing the song.
Yeah.
I just want to start.
So,
Kokomo.
Thanks, Kokomo, Indiana. I hope you have a palm tree somewhere.
Take it slow.
You get some 80s Beach Boys.
But they can still own that song.
Totally.
I mean, it doesn't say that they're in.
No, you're right.
Like, yeah. That would be my theme song if I lived in Kokomo.
So, what should we talk about today, I think?
All right, today we're talking about petrified things in the ground.
Petrified turds.
Sure. I don't know.
No petrifiednesses. You ever been to a petrified forest?
Maybe.
I don't think I have officially, but I know that we drive past one on the way to Seattle.
Okay.
There's a sign
that says,
if you wanted to get off, but I never have. So.
No. Anyway, that's what I think we're talking about.
Petrified. Spookified. No.
Was I close?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. One of these days.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're actually going to go into a subject today, and I won't say what it is yet, that I'm surprised we've never actually, in all this time, we've never gotten into this world. Maybe a little bit last week, maybe.
Okay.
Smidge. So, we're going to start today by talking about White Sands, New Mexico.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of White Sands, New Mexico?
Isn't that like Area 51?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not Area 51.
But like kind of
it's similar.
the vicinity or some...
So Area 51 is right Roswell, New Mexico. There's an Air Force base there where supposedly alien crafts spaceship crashed or landed, and they recovered the bodies in the spaceship, and it's kind of the UFO hotspot.
Is it actually open still?
Yeah, there is a military
There is an
base
active
there. Yeah.
military base there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
In Area 51.
well, I don't know if Area 51 is an official term.
Or is
if
Area
that's
51
just,
like a restricted area that
Right.
you can't go in anymore, but near the Air Force base?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, I highly doubt the Air Force base is called Area 51. I assume it's like,
Yeah, any of the other names.
some boring, normal Air Force base.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But it's the White Sands. There is an Air Force base nearby, but it is a giant missile range owned by the U.S. government.
I don't really know what a missile range is. Like a shooting range, but for missiles?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you just shoot off missiles? I mean,
Rockets.
Yeah.
Blow up big things.
Where? Like, I mean, what are you, how are you detonating them? Into the ground?
Yeah. So, for example, in July of 1945, the first atomic bomb ever was blown up on the White Sands missile range.
I feel like that's a really dumb thing to practice. Like, you don't practice blowing up an atomic bomb.
Well, if you never built one before, it's probably good to do it once or twice.
I mean, no. No, do we, like, we're smart enough to know the ramifications of that.
I don't know if we were or not.
I guess in 1945, you probably had no idea, maybe?
I mean, I doubt that there's no idea, but
I mean,
less idea,
is
I
that
would assume,
area
than today.
that unpopulated that it's safe to even do that? That just seems like the most irresponsible thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Like, is there no anything for a certain radius?
Yeah, there ain't really much out there.
Okay.
I mean, I've driven through New Mexico a few times, and I can believe you could probably, blow up 4 or 5 nuclear bombs in a row and it wouldn't touch anything.
There's still going to be animals and, like, living things
Oh, sure.
that are all going to suffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to talk about those things.
I mean, I do. There's, like, whole ecosystems and stuff that are going to
I
be...
mean, like lizards and stuff.
That's important.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to tell because there's no people out there, so...
What are the ramifications of them practicing? Like,
Four-headed
detonate-
lizards?
the detonation of this atomic bomb in 1945. No, but are there seriously like even in Hanford, they didn't detonate anything. They just have, what are they called?
The reactors.
The reactors. And there is still, I mean, in your own high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Evidence of, in the water and stuff like that nearby.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think...
can't imagine that there
So here in
wouldn't have
Spokane,
been.
we have a huge Marshallese population.
Where are you going with this?
Well, the reason we have so many is because they have essentially free tickets to come to the United States because of all of the testing we did near the Marshallese Islands in the 40s.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I see the connection
Now,
now.
why they came to Spokane, I don't know.
No, I
But-
just see the connection of what you
Yeah.
were saying. I didn't
So
even
there
know
are obviously real ramifications.
that we had done that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
feels, again, so far away and so random.
Mm-hmm. But we're not going to talk about any of those things
Okay.
other than the White Sands, Mexico.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a giant. Well,
Desert?
it is a desert. There is a national park in the middle of the missile range, which is kind of interesting. There's the White Sands National Monument where you could go. They get like 600,000 visitors a year.
So they must not be shooting missiles then.
Well, it's a huge missile range, but not on the national park part, no. But I lost my train of thought. Anyway, they're huge sand dunes, but they're made of gypsum, actually,
Gypsum?
which is why it is white. And
Is gypsum sandy?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Well, this
powdery?
is
Or more
it's
like dirt?
I don't know. Actually, I've never touched it. It is fine enough. Like when the wind blows, it blows. Like it covers the roads. Like they have to plow them, essentially.
They're plowing them from gypsum.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But they get about 30 feet tall.
The
these dunes, and can get as high as about 60 feet tall. So I mean, people go and sled down them.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Playing
it's a
on
big.
the dunes is fun. Interesting.
But like I said, there's this big it's weird to me that there's a national park inside of a missile range.
Yeah.
Like it's
totally.
completely surrounded by the missile range.
Yeah, which is so interesting because my picturing of like a shooting range is like you have a target and you're trying to shoot the target. So essentially I'm thinking of a missile range. Like you have these goals, you want to see how this missile works, if it flies properly. So you're going to hit it at a certain, I guess in this situation, maybe sand dune. And it's like you're practicing shooting missiles. I just can't even comprehend how you would think a national park in here is a smart idea.
Well,
But
it's far
then-
from the shooting part.
Yeah, so then I'm like, okay, maybe it's like a circle. The shooting part's on one side, and then you're way over here. So you're
I actually
safe.
believe it's rectangular. And a lot of the launchings at like the far north end, if I remember right.
Okay. And then the park's like in the other
the middle,
opposite
yeah.
corner or the middle. It is strange. I mean, really. But
Yeah.
maybe it's
And I think a
intriguing.
lot of it is so big just because they don't want anyone near it.
Sure.
And so, they put the perimeter way far away.
I see.
So they're not like shooting everywhere within that perimeter. They're just
Right. They're shooting in a small
people
area
away.
of that.
Right.
I gotcha. That makes more sense, yeah.
after World War II, the Americans brought home 100 long-range German V-2 rockets, which were, anyways, Germany has some amazing rocketry stuff. There's we never have done an episode on it, but there's a CIA operation after World War II called Operation Paperclip, where they sent. I think we've mentioned it before,
Or we've talked about it. Just
but we haven't
me
done.
and you.
Oh, maybe. Where essentially they brought over all of the German rocket scientists and
Mhm.
engineers and stuff, and said, "Hey, just kidding. We don't care what you guys just did, because now you're Americans. You're gonna do it for us."
Because
And
we want to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's actually quite fascinating. So these V series of rockets that they used in World War II, the Germans became, one of these men who was a German rocket scientist became the head of NASA. So
Right.
we fully
Took him.
took them in and made them part of
You adopted them, in
Right.
quotations. Not captured, adopted.
right.
Yeah.
In Disneyland, when it first opened in Tomorrowland, there was a big giant rocket, and it was actually a German, not a real one, but it was a replica of a German
Long range.
I don't know if it was a V2 or not, but yeah.
So when you say long range, because I have absolutely no idea, how long are we talking?
Like shoot from Germany into London.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like far.
Yeah.
So how accurately? Like if you said a city in London or generic, just
Yeah.
a city, or could you go down to like a certain street
know.
crossing? Because,
Obviously compared to
Obviously-
nowadays rockets, these weren't super high tech.
right, that's what I was wondering.
But
How
they
accurate could it
didn't
be?
exist prior to World War II. So, they were
Still like
Game
a huge
changers.
game changer. Yeah. Huge game
the
changer.
fact that you could shoot a rocket without having to fly a plane overhead.
Right, and drop. Yeah, was amazing. So then heat-seeking missiles is something I've heard before. Those are real things.
Mm-hmm.
Those are obviously further down the line from the
Yeah.
long range.
Yeah.
But way more accurate.
Well, but a rocket and a missile are different things.
But they both still blow up stuff.
Mm-hmm. They do both blow up stuff. Now they have hypersonic missiles. So they are
Like
faster than the speed of sound.
So then you
And
can't.
they go up in the atmosphere. And so essentially,
Whoa.
I don't remember what the figures are, but you could launch a nuke from DC and be in Moscow in 3 minutes or something like that.
Wow. This is
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
It's really terrifying.
Anyways, we're not talking about any of that either. Apparently we are talking about it. But
Education level on missiles and obviously rockets, because there's all kinds of them, it's very limited.
well, mine's limited too, so don't feel bad.
So I wonder how much your dad might know.
Well, okay. Speaking of Big Al,
Yeah. Oh, Big Al.
so his last his last station in the military, we lived in San Antonio, but he worked in White Sands, New Mexico.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I didn't know
He was
that.
gone all the time over in White Sands.
Oh, Big Al.
Yeah.
So he was stationed in Texas, but worked in White's. How far away is that? That seems far.
It is far. He was a pilot, so they would fly over there, right?
Sure, but that just, why not move him to New Mexico?
Well, because I don't think anyone lives in White Sands as far as...
Because they detonated a nuclear bomb and you can't live there safely.
And so anyways, I called my father.
Ooh.
And I asked him.
Ooh, I bet he loved it. Is he going to listen to this one?
No, he doesn't listen to any of this
I
stuff.
know.
Doesn't even know how. First time
you should give him the gift of your podcast for Christmas.
First episode, I sent it to them, and my mom texted me back. I don't listen to podcasts. That was her response. Like, okay, thanks, Mom.
But did you text it to your dad?
Like, this is your son. I don't know if you knew that.
I think your dad would try.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
We'll come back to what my dad said in 1 second.
Okay.
So, between 1946 and 51. Out at White Sands, they launched 67 of these 100 V2 rockets. And,
just for like experimental purposes.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Seems wasteful.
That's okay. The Germans made them. And so since then, it has continued to be a major site in the U.S. In their rocket systems, testing and developing and all that kind of stuff. And there is a NASA space shuttle landing site there.
A NASA space shuttle landing site.
It's only been used once. And I think it was an emergency landing, but I mean, it's a big enough facility with those kind of rockets that, I mean, you could land a space shuttle out there.
Yeah. I mean, sounds big and barren.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about aliens real quick.
Okay. Missiles and aliens are way different.
You brought up Area 51,
yep,
which is also in New Mexico. It is widely reported in the UFO community that the vast majority of sightings, UFO sightings, have appeared since World War II.
Okay.
Like, this is kind of a phenomenon that's taken off since then. Many believe that aliens have come to the Earth as a direct response to us creating nuclear weapons. Like a higher being, a smarter being, is like, hey, those morons over there are trying to blow up their Earth. Let's go intervene. Kind of hypothesis.
No.
You need to listen to more Joe Rogan.
I mean,
he's a big alien guy.
I love Joe Rogan. I just wish he said a few less,
less F-bombs?
Yeah, a few less F-bombs.
Well, he's got 17 million subscribers.
Maybe we need to start saying more F-bombs and we'll get more subscribers.
We don't have quite as many as he does.
Come on, Joe, tell us your secret.
But we do have more than the average podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go.
Okay.
Where was I?
You were just saying. Yeah.
If that is true, that aliens are more connected because of nuclear weapons, then it would make sense that an area like White Sands would be a prime target for visitation. Being a rocket test site.
Are rockets and missiles all nuclear? They're not. No. Okay.
But knowing that we've tested them there, who knows what others...
They're intercepting, saying, hey, don't detonate these. This is not a good idea.
Right. That's the theory by some.
Interesting.
That they're like, okay with us peon civilization doing things until we came across nuclear weapons. And then they're like, whoa. We might need to invade that planet and use your resources at some point.
No, so don't blow them up.
Don't blow it up, please.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never heard that before.
Well, you don't listen to enough UFO stuff.
Obviously.
You're too busy like vacuuming and stuff. So my dad worked in White Sands, so I called him.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, because I remember as a kid, he'd come home from White Sands, and I'd ask him, what are you doing out there? And he'd tell me, like, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Oh, yeah. He probably loved saying that.
Yeah. He probably didn't have to, but he would never tell us what he was doing out there. So now, 20 some years later, I was all excited to call him, and he had nothing to tell me. It was super boring.
Yeah. What did he do?
Well, so at first, actually, said he didn't talk to me at all about the missile range. He just kept talking to me about the National Monument over and over.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe that's how they were trained. Like, if people ask you what you do, you just talk about the National Monument. Just talk about the park.
Oh, he's still like under oath.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to say anything, really.
So I was like, well, okay. Like, well, what'd you do out there? And essentially what he told me was private contractors would come out and the things they were working on, developing on, different weapon systems or whatever, And because they were using government property out there, essentially his team was there just to oversee them. They're kind of like babysitting of the private companies that came in to use White Sands.
But why would they utilize your dad as a pilot to do that? It
Well,
seems like
at this point in his military career, he wasn't flying anymore or anything. He was just pushing papers.
Okay. Like he had officially retired from flying?
No. Yeah, I don't think he flew at all anymore at this point.
Weird.
He was just overseeing. He was just administrative. But, so that's what he's telling me. And then he throws in this, but we could listen to people's cell phone calls as they drove by on the freeway. Like we had the technology where you could just like pop in and listen to them.
But we never did it. Well, we never did that.
Well, this is like 92. Like who even has a cell phone? Like those big ones that are like hooked to your car.
Oh yeah, the giant one.
Yeah, it's like one out of every 200 cars even has anything.
We
Like
had the technology to listen to people's. So now, just all the people that live there and by the highway that goes by not Area 51, but White Sands, don't talk on your cell phones because they're listening to you.
Just for fun.
Yeah,
they're bored.
because they are babysitting private companies.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's different now, but my guess is it's still similar.
So in 5 years of him working out there, that's what I got out of him. And I don't know if he was actually out there for all 5 years, but we were in San Antonio for 5 years.
Go military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably just like driving golf balls.
Yeah. Into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
He did love golf back then.
It's true.
So
let's get to our actual story here.
We still haven't gotten there?
Right now.
Oh my gosh.
Well, this is all set up for our story.
Oh, okay.
1956.
Okay.
March. A balmy, warm night in White Sands, New Mexico. 3 a.m. And I want to go to bed. It's an OAR song, sorry.
I like OAR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sergeant Jonathan Lovett was stationed at the missile range, and he and his superior officer, Major William Cunningham, were sent out on a routine mission to retrieve scattered debris from a recent missile test at 3 a.m.
Why?
Don't have no clue.
Why not just leave it there till the morning?
This is a great question.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what they did. So they drive out to the desert in a Jeep. They get out, flashlights in hand, and they go to their area that they're supposed to be looking for whatever.
Debris.
So as the two of them make their way through the desert, Cunningham reportedly became separated from Lovett. Now, he's probably thinking like, oh, there's nothing suspicious. They're just looking different ways, and all of a sudden he looks around in the dark, and he can't see Lovett anymore. So he doesn't really worry. He's like, maybe he's peeing, or maybe he's, whatever.
Right.
So he starts calling for him, and then suddenly he hears an intense, agonizing scream in the darkness.
Oof, that would be
coming from Lovett.
So scary.
Yeah. So if that's you, what are you thinking when you hear that scream?
Something bad's got him.
Dude, that's a very practical thought.
Yeah.
Good job, Bethany.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, that's what he thought too. He thought he must be being attacked by some kind of animal.
Yeah.
Bit by a snake.
Maybe there's dingoes in New Mexico?
No, it's not Australia.
Just kidding.
No dingoes, but maybe a rattlesnake.
Maybe.
I don't know if they have large cats out there.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I feel like cougars are pretty everywhere.
I don't know. They don't seem like they'd want to live in the desert, though.
It's true.
I don't know.
Maybe there's some other kind of desert cat.
Not only that, you said the only thing that might die would be lizards. So.
Well, maybe it's a giant lizard like a Komodo dragon.
We're not on Madagascar or wherever those live.
They live on the island of Komodo.
Oh, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but they might have turned that way after all the nuclear fallout.
Oh, I see.
Like zombie.
Yes. Lizards.
Anyways. So he hears this scream in the darkness. It's probably like that time that you removed the stairs from our deck. And I fell down them because I didn't know we were missing stairs at night. And you heard me scream.
That was so terrible.
Yeah, it's probably like that.
That was so terrible.
It was terrible.
I didn't think you would be going down the stairs at dark night and it's just so busy with all the kids. I just didn't remember to tell you.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Oh my gosh.
You shouldn't do that, people. Don't remove the top deck stairs.
Like 3 or 4.
Well, enough where, there's a space where you expect,
It's
a
big
stair.
enough. Yeah.
Anyways.
You didn't die. I'm
Didn't die.
so grateful.
So Major Cunningham, thinking that Lovett's probably being attacked, he races as fast as he can. He mounds this small hill. And on the other side, he can't believe what he sees. What do you think he sees, Anthony?
An alien sucking out his innards.
Pretty much.
Really?
According to Cunningham, right in front of him, about 20 feet in the air, hovered a metallic sphere. The disc made no noise whatsoever. But coming out of it was a long cord, kind of like a hose floating in the air. And it reached all the way down the ground where it was wrapped around Sergeant Lovett's leg. And that's why he was screaming.
He was hanging upside down?
I don't know if he was hanging upside down or if he was still on the ground.
Okay. But it was wrapped around his leg.
So Sergeant Lovett was fighting the cord, trying to free himself, when suddenly the cord retracted up into the ship, pulling the airman with it, and he was gone into the ship.
Whoa.
Whoa is right. And then the ship darts off into the night sky, and Major Cunningham is left shocked and alone in the desert.
Does he have, like, a radio or, like...
He does have a radio back in his Jeep.
Or, like, video? You don't really have cell phones.
It was 1956.
Yeah.
So, what do you do?
You go run back to your Jeep and you radio to
What do you tell him?
That exactly what he just saw? And say, send more people, or save me, or turn the camera on, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much exactly what he did. He runs back to the Jeep. He radios in that Lovett's been taken and some aircraft is taken off with him. Now, back in 1956, no one knows what a UFO is.
Right.
And so he couldn't say, like, there was an unidentified flying saucer.
Object.
UFO.
It stands for object, by the way.
Right. It does. But just flying saucers were the shape. Gotcha. The general term. Mm-hmm. All right. UFO. And so he does that. The Air Force sends out a bunch of crews to look for him, but they can't. They never find anything. Well, they don't find anything right then, at least. And so the radio control tower did confirm, though, that an unknown aircraft had come onto the radar and taken off so fast that they couldn't scramble any jets or do anything to counter it.
Whoa. So even the radars conclude that there was something there.
So 3 days later, 10 miles from the abduction site, they find Lovett's body.
Is he dead?
Very dead.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know if he can really be very dead, like you're dead or not dead, but he's dead.
I was hoping he'd be alive still. They just wanted to, like, test him out, you know?
Yeah. You thought they just wanted to probe him.
Yeah.
Well, they probed him all right. To death.
Did they do autopsy? Did they determine what had happened?
Yeah. The investigators and the doctors could not believe what they found when they found the body. For one, it really wasn't that decomposed. Like, it was, especially after sitting in the desert for 10 days, it was in pretty dang good shape.
Well, maybe they didn't drop it off.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But if it, wasn't aliens, you would expect it to be very decayed and ravaged by animals and all sorts of stuff by that point, right?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it proves that he was in a spaceship getting probed.
It proves that he wasn't in the desert for 10 days.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is what they find. A clean surgical incision had been made along the jawline.
Interesting.
A large section of jawbone, as well as his tongue and his eyes, had been removed.
Oh.
But when we say removed, we mean like surgically, like very cleanly.
Very cleanly, like
not
they were trying to preserve
not
the
like
organs.
a fox had come along and eaten them. Both, I'm going to try to say this nicely since I know children listen sometimes. Both parts of the body where human waste comes out had been surgically removed. Both the front and the back. And the body was completely depleted of blood.
Like 0 blood.
No blood. Blood.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up weird.
Now, the investigators also noted that there were numerous dead birds around the body who had apparently died after trying to eat from the corpse.
Hmm.
Like maybe he was highly radioactive. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
So Cunningham was arrested for the murder.
Are you serious?
Well, I mean, it's quite the story to say an alien abducted him.
What's also quite the story if he radioed right away and then this guy has all this weirdness.
So they charged Cunningham saying he killed Lovett and then made up the abduction story and did all this stuff to cover up his tracks.
He surgically did the jawline and the eyeballs and the tongue and the gonads.
Yep.
What?
But there was no evidence. Like, this didn't actually add up. And so it was pretty quickly he was released.
Good.
And he was also released from the Air Force. Now, he was a pretty hot mess. I don't think he was, like, punished released from the Air Force. I think he was like, I get out
After
of
that
here.
experience? Yeah.
So to this day, to our knowledge, Jonathan Lovett's death has never been solved. Now, here's the interesting point of this story.
I bet you it has been solved, but they just don't want the world to know.
Very possible. So there's no direct evidence that this actually ever happened, other than the accounts of those who supposedly lived it.
Okay.
There's no... You can't go find a government report,
Of course you can't.
a military report, an
course you
autopsy
can't.
report.
Right.
It's like the X-Files.
Of course.
So maybe it never did happen. Or, if it did, it would make sense that there wouldn't be any evidence anyways.
So, the person, I can't remember his name, that radioed in,
Cunningham, Major Cunningham.
he would have radioed in to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So those other people would also be witnesses to this story.
Yes.
So what did they have to say? Just like, I mean...
Whatever the government told them to say.
I see.
I've watched enough X-Files. I know how this works.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, it would make sense that if this really did happen, that the government would never let it out.
Oh, of course not.
Because, for one, there's no way they'd ever let people know that such a highly secure location had been compromised.
Sure.
Two, I mean, part of that is in the Cold War. They would never give the credit to, assumingly, the Soviet Union, right?
Right.
But also, if it really was aliens, I mean...
That was such a huge phenomenon.
You couldn't let that out, right?
Right.
Like,
paranoia.
Yeah.
Mass
Can you
hysteria.
imagine?
Yeah.
What would happen in the world if
I can't.
people found out that...
So how do we know this now?
It's a good question. So I believe Cunningham himself has told the story.
So, but I know, like, when you're in the military, you are not supposed to say certain things, right? Or you get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, did he not get reprimanded for saying this stuff?
Well...
Or how does that work? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think when it... I don't know specifically here. In general, if it's some kind of
like security thing.
Right. So if it's like, hey, we're building this super secret weapon, sure, you're going to get in trouble for saying it. But if it's like, hey, my buddy was abducted and killed by aliens, it's almost easier just to let them say that because no one's going to believe it anyways.
I see what you're saying. But I mean, I even know... Sorry. Something just tickled. Like certain deployment locations, you can tell that because you don't want right. So I don't know. I just feel like they would get mad at him and threaten him.
Maybe they killed him.
Isn't he still alive?
I don't know.
Cunningham, I'm talking about.
But I am sure he's not alive now.
Well, okay, but I mean, he obviously lived. I mean, we're reading this story.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
whether it was true or not, it would be easy to dismiss if it was a one-off story. But
like it happened one time.
If it's like, okay, yeah, but remember that one time that the crazy Air Force guy said he was abducted by aliens? Cool, whatever. But if you have lots of those stories, whether there's any evidence of it or not, then it becomes a little more believable, right?
Oh, sure. So there's more?
There's lots more, I think.
Oh, gosh. We don't have all night.
More.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't have all night. So we'll go pretty. So, cattle mutilation. Have you ever heard of cattle mutilation?
I mean, I can imagine what it means.
It's very accurately descriptive in its name.
Yeah. I know what cow tipping is. Cattle,
okay, yeah, different than that.
Yeah. I want to try it.
Okay.
Anyway, no, I have no idea. I mean, obviously it's like, oh, the theory that aliens are doing something to cows. Mutilating
them specifically.
Right.
Yes.
I didn't want to say it again, but yes.
So, yeah, it's a phenomena where cattle are found dead with very precise surgical-like cuts. Most of the time, they're missing organs, such as the eyes, the tongues, reproductive organs, and even portions of the skin. Pretty much always found completely bloodless and with no signs of struggle or predation.
Sounds exactly like the guy.
Exactly like the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's lots of cases of cattle mutilation.
So
spanning across the globe.
Oh.
So
that makes it even weirder.
Let's talk about a few of them.
Okay.
So since the 1960s, there have been thousands of cases here in the United States, particularly in Colorado, New Mexico, and Montana. In the 1970s alone, there were almost 8,000 reported cases of cattle mutilations.
Just in the United States?
Mm-hmm. A large enough problem that it legitimately was prompting investigations by the FBI and other agencies. But other cases have been reported in Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, South America, and a lot, for whatever reason, in Brazil and Argentina. Like, Brazil's kind of the hot spot of weird alien abduction stories outside of New Mexico, the southeast of the United States. Sorry, southwest.
So now I'm starting to think, okay, at some point in time, maybe they live off the blood, but I still don't get the organs, the eyes, the tongue, the gonad. Like, I don't know
either.
Or is that all you eat? You eat the eyeballs? Are they chewy?
I don't know. I'm not an alien, man. So let's go through a couple cases.
It's just weird.
Super fast.
Okay.
1967, Alamosa, Colorado. This is the first widely publicized cattle mutilation case. A horse was found dead and mutilated. Her carcass was missing flesh around the head and neck, and her organs were removed with surgical precision. No blood or tracks were found around the site, and strange bird marks were reported near the carcass.
Bird marks?
Burn.
Oh, burn marks.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Dulce, New Mexico, 1970s. A whole string of cases. Again, a whole bunch of cases, all with the same characteristics: bloodless carcasses, precise cuts, missing organs.
Weird. So weird.
San Luis Valley cases in the 80s and 90s. This is San Luis Valley in Colorado. Became infamous for a string of cattle mutilations over a couple decades. Same thing, unusual incisions, missing organs. Sometimes these people would claim there were UFO sightings in the area, but
are there always burn marks around them?
Not always reported, no.
Okay.
But sometimes.
Interesting.
2002, Argentina saw an alarming spike in cattle mutilations in that year, with over 200 cases in just a couple months. Animals were found with precise wounds, blood loss, missing organs. Veterinarians and law enforcement were never able to provide an explanation as to what was going on. 2011 in Missouri.
So
in
curious.
the United States.
That's actually not very long ago.
Nope.
Same kind of thing, though, right?
In Henry County, cattle rancher discovered his livestock dead with mysterious injuries, including cleanly removed ears and tongues. Again, lack of blood and the precision of the cuts stumped everybody trying to figure it out. So the question is whether we or not we believe Lovelet happened. We do have hundreds, if not thousands, of actual cases that are documented that cannot be explained on these livestock and animals.
Right. I guess the part that's the most confusing for me is like one human and 90 million animals. I mean, not really 90 million, but you understand what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
One human, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, humans are disgusting. We're going to stick with cows.
Well, I don't blame them.
But didn't you say one was a horse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like, and how it kind of comes and goes. Like, it's not a consistently always thing. There's like almost like a trend to it. Like you have a lot happen here and then a lot happen here. So that makes it more perplexing.
Yeah, so I have two questions that come to mind.
Yeah.
One, name me a natural predator that kills cleanly.
Yeah.
You're not going to, there isn't.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
So, okay, so you would want to rule out, well, it can't be natural predators.
Right.
It's got to be somebody. Okay, well then tell me what prankster or group of pranksters across the world spanning decades can cleanly cut surgically and not ever get caught.
Well, and at the same time, it seems like such a bizarre...
I mean, how would you even drain an animal that big of their blood overnight?
Oh, you wouldn't.
With no sign of struggle, with no...
Well, and it would be so messy.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, so that's what...
You can't convince me this is a bunch of like drunk 22-year-olds.
Oh, for surely not. And even then, let's say you could figure out a way to do it. Where would you store? What are you the amount of blood? Yeah,
this?
what are you doing with
That's
this?
a good question,
and
too.
where and how has it never been stumbled upon? Like the storage of eyeballs or tongues or whatever. All this blood, where is it going? I mean, for a cow, that's
a lot of blood.
Huge amount of blood.
So something's happening. Now, I will be the first to throw out, who knows if it's aliens or not.
Well,
But
okay, so
something
then
is
here's my
happening
question
that-
is, what do you think it is?
Oh, I mean, aliens is as good as any other explanation. I really can't come up with an explanation that makes any sense.
Yeah, I was thinking, as you were telling these stories, I was thinking, okay, if there was a predator, it wouldn't be that sporadic. And you would have discovered what kind of predator could even do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like some sort of blood-sucking reptile or something.
Chupacabra.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it literally means goat sucker.
Right.
Like translated.
But it actually is
It's a mythical,
one of
cryptid
those,
in Mexico.
Right. So I was thinking of this, like it can't be a natural predator. That's what I was thinking. But then I was thinking maybe there is like a group of scientists that have a team, would maybe include a doctor. I don't know, but even then, what's the purpose?
Like black op specialized government, agency that's doing something makes more sense than aliens, but they're both still way out there in left field.
So way out there.
So yeah, I'm not proposing I know the answers, just that it's very fascinating because something's happening.
For sure.
This is how I feel oftentimes with ghost stories. Now, a lot of them are probably nothing paranormal at all, but I have no problem believing that there's something in the physical world. And when I say physical, I don't mean like hard physical. I mean like physics that maybe we just don't understand yet. Mm-hmm. And so we get these weird things that happen and we just assume, oh, it's the spirit of a dead person because that's what our mind can make sense of. It probably isn't that at all, but there could be something else going on we just don't understand.
Sure.
And I'm kind of in that same boat with this. Like, obviously something is happening. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe aliens is the right answer. Maybe there's something else that we just obviously don't understand or know.
the other part that I go back to is they did say on the radar that they did acknowledge or recognize or whatever happens.
It's true, but we're also relying on, no official documentation on that, right?
But I don't know how you wouldn't have documentation on that.
Well, either it really exists and the government doesn't want to let you know, or it doesn't exist.
But I mean, wouldn't a radar detection of a flying thing almost be like a recorded, like a black box in an airplane? Like it records
Sure.
and you.
But
could
who's
go back.
recording it? The government. If you're on a military site,
sure.
so they say, "Hey, you know what? That never happened.
Then
Destroy that." Then
I get
there
what
you
you're
go. It
saying.
never happened.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So somewhere out in the universe, maybe someone really does know,
Yeah, maybe.
or maybe not anymore. Maybe they're too old now. But
Right. So, you said something curious a few minutes ago.
Okay.
How it was one person and all these animals.
Yeah.
I got more people cases for you.
Oh. Okay. You got more people cases for me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's hear them.
1979.
Okay.
Bliss, Idaho.
Okay.
About 10 miles from my mom's hometown of Gooding, Idaho.
Ooh. Sounds like a good place.
So see, this is a cool story because I brought in both my parents.
Yep. They should be listening.
I've spent a lot of time in Gooding, Idaho. There ain't much there. It's a good place to mutilate somebody if you want to be an alien.
Oh, gross.
So, two hunters came across the naked body of a mutilated male.
Okay.
His lips and sexual organs had been removed. His belongings were found several miles away in a field. The police ruled it as he was just a drunken vagrant who died after getting into some kind of bad
Brawl
circumstances. But the two hunters and the locals never believed that.
Of
Like,
course.
after seeing it, they're like, no. This is
too specific and just
right.
Yeah.
Now, there's no evidence there of like the blood being drawn, those kind of things. But the other cases that we're going to get to do.
Interesting.
So that one, maybe not.
Okay.
1981, Panorama region of Brazil.
Okay.
Two buddies, Abel Boro and Rivamar Ferreira.
Nice.
I don't speak Portuguese, so I don't know how those are supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the two of them were out in a field and they came across a UFO, which sent out a light ray that attempted to grab the boys. Very Star Trek-y. Now, Ferreira managed to escape while Boro did not. So Ferreira ran back to town, got the police. When they came back, they found Boro's body completely drained of blood.
Whoa. I mean, to do it that fast.
And that's an actually documented, police reports and stuff.
Yeah, that blood part is so weird. I mean, that's a process. I
don't even know what that process is.
Well, okay, so you've worked in a cadaver lab. I mean, you're draining their body.
Well, there's no blood there.
No, there's no blood there. But you're draining their body of...
I mean, I've worked in the coroner's office where, there are lots of fluids being drained.
Sure. Or coroner's office, wherever you worked. But any kind of fluid in the body would be... It's complicated. I mean, I've never really thought about it till you'd worked there, right? And you told me it's not really... It's disgusting. But think about that. You're able to suction or vacuum certain vestibules of people's bodies. I mean, these capillaries, or if you are an American, capillary, they're so tiny. I don't even know what you would use to drain something. I mean, I literally can't imagine
I don't know either.
how you would do that.
I don't even know what the process would look like.
But when you embalm somebody, aren't you replacing all of the blood with...
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to talk to your cousin or somebody.
Aren't you pushing it, almost like pushing it out?
Right. You're removing the blood. You're replacing it with, I don't know what it is. Kind of latex.
Formaldehyde. I don't...
Well, it's definitely not going to be formaldehyde anymore.
No, but isn't
putting
it a
some kind of preservative, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder at what level that stops. Like, are you actually getting down into the capillaries, or if it's just the main
blood, like
Right.
bigger artery. I don't have a clue.
Conveyance.
Like the whole concept is so complex,
Yeah.
right? That I don't even know how you would do it unless it is an extraterrestrial, like a thing that doesn't make sense to us.
Right.
But obviously follows the laws of physics, just that us lower beings don't know.
I definitely don't.
Yeah.
So last one. And this is a really big, famous case. I mean, we could do a whole show on just this one case.
Do you think I've heard of it?
No.
You know me.
The Guarapiranga Reservoir.
Sounds
Case.
like we're in like Brazil or something.
We are in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Near Sao Paulo, 1988. So this one, the body of a man was discovered near this reservoir.
Okay.
Under very strange and gruesome circumstances.
Okay. Just be aware of your listeners.
Mm-hmm. So his body had two 2-inch symmetrical holes, or one on the other side of his body, on his sides of his torso, through which his internal organs had been removed.
Whoa.
So he's got a 2-inch hole on his right, a 2-inch hole on his left. They're symmetrical with each other, very clean.
And the organs.
And the organ had been removed through those holes.
Like LASIK surgery.
Almost like ortho.
Yeah. Ortho.
Yeah, I can't think of the word right now.
I
But you know what
not
I'm talking
LASIK.
about.
Oroscopic.
There you go.
Right? Yeah.
So much had been removed that his chest cavity had actually collapsed because there was nothing under there, to an extent. I mean,
Right.
His lips, eyes, ears, jawbone, and reproductive organs had also been removed, which is funny because that's exactly what had happened according to our first story. Those
Right,
exact same
the
thing. The jawbone. Yep.
Weird. I'm wondering if the jawbone, removing a section of the jawbone, is what enables them to access the eyeballs.
I mean,
and the tongue.
maybe.
Like, less, because the skull is
true.
hard as rock, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could directly access the eyeballs, obviously, but the tongue would be much easier if you went through a cheek and removed the jaw than trying to go through the oral cavity.
Yeah.
But then again, if you have these cool tools,
Because you're an alien.
because you're an alien,
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, no sign of struggle. No bruising, no,
Right.
Bloody knuckles, no,
Weird. It's so weird.
no blood,
Like, just drained of
Mhm.
all. Yeah.
which was very interesting to the people who found him and who did the autopsies and stuff because of the injuries, right? You would expect to definitely see blood if there's holes
Yeah.
and someone's removing your organ. If this is Jack the Ripper, there's gonna be blood everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Yeah. Huh.
And one other interesting thing, the edges of the holes have been cauterized.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost like
Like a surgical tool.
again, this isn't some
Yeah.
homeless person that
No.
got attacked, by
No.
some other,
So
whatever.
then what about family members of these people? Like,
It's a good question.
if you were to interview them and talk to them, like, I don't know. One thing I've noticed, though, so far, all your stories, they are males,
That's true. That is interesting.
right? That's weird. I
not
wonder about
not
this.
with the not with the
Not with the cows.
not with the cattle, because that first story, a horse was a female horse.
Okay.
But you're right. All of the human
Humans.
ones have been males.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this case that made it so different was, unlike the Americans, the Brazilian government actually released the autopsy report internationally asking for help. Like,
They were so
somebody help us
perplexed.
figure out what the heck's happening here.
Yeah.
Where the U.S. government's very like, hush, hush, we're not
Yeah.
going to
We're
let
not
anybody
going to
know.
talk about this at all.
The Brazilians wanted help trying to figure out.
Do you think they got help?
I don't know.
Because if they got help,
Excuse me. I mean, I'm sure they got help, but I don't know if they got any answers.
yeah. Or did they almost get reprimanded? Like,
Yeah.
hey, we really shouldn't be.
That's true.
Like,
That's a very valid thing as well. So that's the end of the stories. Again, the question of not aliens, then what?
Yeah.
Give me a better hypothesis.
Yeah, it's all seems to be in a very similar manner that all of them were approached, whether it's, they're not identical, but like whether it's a cow or it's a human. The horse one is different though, because it wasn't the rib cage, like wasn't it open and there's a little, it was a little more, oh, so I don't know. I thought you said something about the ribs. Anyway, I just feel like perplexed, very perplexed. I want to know more about what it would take to drain like a body of blood. Like like if you were to ask a doctor or someone who is a mortician, truthfully, like
Just ask Google. It's like the same thing.
if you, I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I just wonder, like, is there any possibility that could be a man-made tool or thing that you could do? Like from the time the buddy in Brazil went to the police and came back, this kid is bloodless. I mean, I have no idea what that time frame is. An hour?
Yeah. I don't know either.
Right?
Like, I don't know if they're off hiking
Yeah,
in the woods
so-
and this is a 12-hour
Exactly.
later, or...
So that's where I'm like, it would be interesting to know these kind of things, but it just makes me think so many different questions. Is there a possibility of in the time frame that even happening by anything that we know to this day? Because that would give you it has to be extraterrestrial, right? I mean, there's no other.
Yeah. I'm going to go get in the hot tub later tonight, and I'll look up how to drain a body of all this blood.
Are you really?
We'll see what.
See, I don't
what
want any of
comes
those
up.
kind of things on my Google search, but you go, by all means, you go ahead. It just would bring up, no, ugh, yuck. I mean, my closest experience with an unidentified flying object was Starlink, and it was legit terrifying until I knew what it was.
It's true. I've seen 2 UFOs in my life.
Oh, you saw one, I think, at Disneyland. Or remember that weird?
Well, I think that it was super weird.
It was super weird, and
I think that had to do with just the way, like, I think it was all smoke from the fireworks and stuff, and just happened to be lots of,
I don't know.
but it was like this
But
trippy,
it stayed there for a
and lots of people,
really long
right?
time.
And lots of people were. I was right outside the Golden Horseshoe,
Yeah.
and lots of people were stopping and checking it
Speculating,
out,
right? And we were coming to you. We just got the tail end of it or something. We were meeting
Yeah.
you, and so we
I was
missed.
by myself. I don't remember who all was
I think
with
it was,
us.
yeah.
Probably the whole family.
I don't know.
But that was weird. No, I've seen 2 UFOs, both while driving. One coming home from play rehearsal, probably for Wonka,
Okay.
and one driving home from Sunnyside, like back to Pasco. Both weird lights, like I don't even know how to describe it, like shooting across the sky, but in very
Not like a shooting star manner.
right. Both during daytime though.
Oh,
And very quick in and out, gone in a,
weird.
and I don't assume they're aliens, but both times very noticeable, like, or notable. Like that was really, really, really weird. Like what in the world was that,
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would have no problem believing there's aliens out there. Mathematically speaking, it seems very illogical to believe there's not something out there in this giant
I have no
universe.
problem believing there are other things out there that maybe are more intelligent. I do have a problem with the inconsistency.
I have a problem with the idea of why would they want to show up every once in a while
Yeah.
and do stuff like this.
Unless, like, wherever they come from, something weird is happening and they need to use resources.
But even then, it would be,
It's
this
so,
is so far and few between.
that's what I'm
right?
saying. It's so random. And so then it's even more perplexing. You're like, okay, well,
And like anything else that are kind of on these fringe paranormally subjects, like you have to wade through so much garbage
yeah.
to get to any kind of potentially
meat.
right.
Yeah. I don't know. It is weird. I mean, it's straight up strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that cannot be explained. But there's got to be some explanation.
Right.
So Anyways,
can't
if you
believe
have an
that.
explanation, text us, please.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
Or
can't
if you
believe
have
that's
been
all your dad
mutilated.
gave you. Literally, like
I was driving from here to like Fred Meyer, and like by the time I got there, he was out of stuff to tell me. We're talking like 3 minutes.
oh man, I thought he was gonna have something
I
exciting.
know. I was like, this is lame.
Yeah, like don't be lame.
Don't be lame. It's good life advice to everybody.
Yeah,
Just
I
don't
remember
be
my
lame.
one car ride with your dad. He told me about the secret military hills that store weapons, bioweapons that look just like yes, in Umatilla that just look like little hills, and they are really just covered with earth.
Mm-hmm.
So then, he was saying from way up high, they look like
if you were back in like World War II, you're flying over, you would never see
them, but they're really biochemical stuff, and I was like, whoa, just like mind blown.
Yeah. Where I grew up was nuclear sites on one side and bio weapon storage on the other.
Yeah, you're doomed.
No matter which way the wind was blowing, you were in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
So,
anyway, I remember.
Alrighty.
Okay.
What do you remember?
Just that car ride. I was just being so, because then after him telling me that, I was like, what else can you tell me, from the military? And I was just picking his military brain. But what you remember from years before, is probably very different from
Brilliant remembers nothing about White Sands, New Mexico, other than they had to plow it like snow. Like, well, I knew that, so that wasn't very helpful.
Well, I didn't know that.
So.
But anyway, okay, well, very interesting.
Very.
Are there aliens out there, or are there not? Dun, dun, dun,
Don't
dun.
know. Oh, my microphone's falling over. Alrighty, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful day or night or whatever time it is, wherever you are. And we'll be back next week. Again, talking about strange stuff. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.